she will always say, I shall not die, I shall not die, and I said, no, you will not die. Cancer is not a death sentence, right? So I think what we need to do is just to ensure that you get the treatment, and we'll do our best and then leave the rest to God. So she took it well until she got to India, and they told her that unfortunately she would have to go through a mastectomy because the other lump, so that was when they told her that there was a second lump left. And that if both lumps were removed at the time,
it would have been saved?
Yeah, she would have saved her breast.
Wow.
Right?
No judgment here, just a friendly ear. Tune in every day, bring your worries near. Life Couch Show, let the heartbeats flow. With AD, we heal and grow. Life on the couch with AD. Talk it all out, set your mind free. Life on the couch, stories we share.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Life Couch with AD. You already know that what we discuss here is people's life's experiences with the aim that someone out there will listen, can relate, will be able to learn a thing or two and understand that in life, you're not alone in this journey. The struggle of life, everyone, is a part of it. And at the end, there's always a good story, if you believe. And today, I have a beautiful and intelligent guest here with me. And we will be discussing or talking about how she and her family navigated through a difficult time in their life when their mom had a health challenge. I know that a lot of people go through health challenges and sometimes you feel like there's no hope. I hope that with this story, we'll be able to learn a thing or two and just understand that there's always a way out, if you believe. So today, I will be introducing our beautiful guest. Her name is Ife Isitua. Hey, Ife.
Hi, Faye. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much for saying yes. I know you wear so many hats and you're busy. And I'm glad that I'm able to catch you. Thank you.
Thank you. No, this is good. Thanks for having me here.
All right. So at this point, I will just allow you to introduce yourself. Just let people get to know you.
Sure. So my name is Ife Isitua, and I am a lifelong, I would say, avid well-being person. So I love everything well-being. And I'm an HR professional and also a well-being consultant. And I just love supporting everything that has to do with living a purposeful and joyful life. So that's me. There are a lot of things that I do, but I try to just focus on everything that has to do with well-being, not just as an employee, but also for moms and everyone going through this life.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Welcome. And I should tell you how I met Ife. See, I don't even know how we really met, but one thing I can't forget is Ife, I think I was about to write, so I do HR as well. And I was about to write a professional examination. I think I'd written it and I failed, I think. And Ife was like, sweet, this is what you have to do. This book is what you need, and without anything. And I think we had just met. Yeah. She gave me this book and that's what I read and I passed. I'll never forget. It's not everyone that is as generous with information or whatever they have paid for, that way. And, I never forget people who do me good. Like, I never forget it. They always hold a special spot. And I don't know. I probably have said thank you.
You have.
But thank you again.
Times. Trust me. And that's, I guess, we're in touch because, you are also one of those people that... for me, it's a small gesture, right? But I kind of look at it from the lens of, I always never want people to go through what I went through.
Sure.
Right? And what will it cost me?
I know.
Right? And I'm glad that it was helpful.
Yeah, it was. It was really helpful, and I'm forever grateful to you. And sometimes we pray in life, you just want God to send you the exact person that you need at that time, and you were the person I needed, and I'm grateful.
That's great.
Anyways,
Thank you.
yes. So, so we will start by asking you to share your mother's journey with this particular ailment. Feel free to mention and how it impacted you personally, and then you can also expand. How did it impact the whole family?
Absolutely. So yeah, it was 2010. I remember, and this was just 2 years after my dad had unfortunately passed away, and my mom. She's very health conscious, or she was very health conscious. She's passed away now.
Sorry to hear that.
So. And she did notice that she had a lump on her breast. I can't remember if it was right or left now, but she noticed there was a lump on her breast and started really being worried about it. She went to a clinic. They said it was nothing. That it was just kind of a boil or something. And she said, no, this is not normal. This seems off. I have a sister, so I'm from a family of 7, and one of my sisters asked her to come over to Lagos, and she went to Lagos, and they decided to go to a different hospital. Getting to the hospital, the doctor said that there was a lump and that it was best to remove the lump.
Oh, yeah.
So they took the lump off. Unfortunately, there were 2 lumps, right?
Wow.
But one was taken out and the other one was left in there for whatever reasons.
And wasn't explained?
It wasn't explained. So the sad part of it was that I would say it was intentional. The reason I say it was intentional was because when my mom came home, she was talking about that day, and she said that the doctor was telling her that she would come back. But she didn't understand what he meant. So she kept on saying, God forbid, typical Christian mom. She was like, God forbid, I'm not coming back. I'm healed in Jesus' name and all. But it did happen that there were 2 lumps and he took one out. And I guess leaving the second one was the reason why he was saying she would come back, because...
Was there a health reason for that, or it was just monetary?
It was monetary. There's no other way to explain that, right? So they took the lump out, the one lump. They took that to check, and eventually it was cancerous.
Wow.
And it being cancerous also meant that the result came. The doctor held on to the result for a while.
Why?
I know. For whatever reasons, we had to chase him down to ask for the result. And at that time, I was living in England. So I just took it upon myself and I called his office. Fortunately, I got through to him and I said, we want my mom's result back. We just want to know what is going on. So he released the result, gave it to my cousin, who scanned it to me. Because I have a friend who is a medical doctor, and I said, okay. He sent it. He didn't tell us what it was. He didn't tell us it was cancerous or anything. So I took it to my friend. I sent it to my friend, and my friend called me and said, you guys have to act really fast. And I said, okay, what's going on? He said, the report, your mom has stage 3 cancer.
Wow.
And so you guys really have to do something fast. I said, okay. It was night at that time. I was all by myself.
Can you imagine? I'm sorry to interrupt, but how does something that needs to be acted on immediately?
Yeah.
How does someone hold on to that information? How do they sleep at night?
Yeah. And those are the things that, when it comes to medical, and I will, I'd say more to this, but just being able to advocate for yourself or your family member, it's one important piece, right? Because if we didn't push, we probably just would have sat in there and didn't do anything about it. So, my friend said, this is cancerous. Just do whatever you guys can do as soon as possible. So that was how I came in at that initial stage of being, I would say, the bad news bearer. Because I had to tell my sister, who my mom was staying with at that time to say, this is what the result is all about, right? And she had to tell my mom. And that's how the journey just started. And we had to start looking for treatment options. And that was a different one because we just wanted to be sure of what we are doing, right? We don't just want to pay and not get the best of treatment. So we ended up being able to find a good hospital. And
In Nigeria?
No, we didn't do anything in Nigeria. And it was just, we've had terrible experience with a lot of, medical things. So we decided to go to India with my mom. And going to India, again, which is one of the things that we learned through this journey, was we were open about it as a family. We saw that something was wrong. We knew that we needed help. One of my other sister told her friend that, look, my mom has just been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and we're trying options. And the lady said, oh, my auntie just came back from India.
Okay.
She went to this hospital. Everything went well. Price-wise, cost-wise, it was good and all. So we got the contact, started talking with the hospital, and within a few weeks, my mom and my sister got their visa and they went to India from Nigeria. So my mom went, and she was there with my sister for a while. And then I went from Manchester to India to go stay with my mom. So I was there for 3 weeks with my mom. And being able to support her and be there through that journey was also very, I would say, rewarding. Painful, but rewarding. Rewarding in the sense that myself and my family, we gave in everything for that journey. And it really made my mom to also feel good and appreciated, just knowing that she was not alone, that she has her children, like outside.
And painful? Well, that's the whole thing. Like, you had to give everything.
I had to give everything. Like, I left my job for that period, leaving my job and just going down to India. I mean, it wasn't a vacation. And still, my sister was there. The other people who couldn't come, they were supporting in every way. It wasn't just me involved. All my family, all 7 of us, everybody was, hands on. Calls, money, everything that we could do, we did for my mom.
How did she react when she heard about and how did you feel? And then how did you feel, sharing the news, and how did she take it?
I mean, I wasn't there when they told her physically, but when I spoke to her the day after she was informed about the diagnosis, my mom is a person of faith, right? She's a choir person like you as well. So, and she's gone through a lot, health-wise. My dad passed away. He wasn't sick. He wasn't anything. So a lot has happened to her. And she didn't take it well. I mean, nobody will hear such stories and laugh or anything. She was devastated. But my mom was also someone who would always tell you that I trust God. Those were always her words. And she would say, I trust God. I know that He would never forsake me. And I know that I will come out of this. And, she will always say, I shall not die. I shall not die, And I said, no, you will not die. Cancer is not a death sentence, right? So I think what we need to do is just to ensure that you get the treatment, and we'll do our best and then leave the rest to God. So she took it well until until she got to India and they told her that unfortunately she would have to go through a mastectomy because the other lump, so that was when they told her that there was a second lump left. And that if both lumps were removed at the time,
It would have been saved?
yeah, she would have saved her breast.
Wow.
Right? And so she just, nobody wants to have their body parts kind of removed, right? And as a woman, like,
Yeah.
her boobs are really kind of...
They are the thing.
So, yeah, she didn't take that well at all because they said if both lumps were removed, she probably would have just gone through chemotherapy and radiotherapy.
I just have
Yeah.
goosebumps right now because I am so mad at a health professional who is supposed to be protecting people. I mean, they took oaths. They took an oath to protect people. And you know how these things spread like wildfire. I'm not a doctor, but at least everyone knows. Like if you don't, and then you do this because of monetary reasons. I don't know. You're playing with someone's life.
Yeah, they don't
Even if
care.
it's someone's breasts. For Christ's sake.
Breast is a lot of issue, man.
I know. For a woman, it's part of your
it's
femininity,
part of
right?
yeah.
It's that thing that makes you feminine.
Yeah.
Isn't this just wicked? Like,
It's just ridiculous.
I can imagine how angry she would feel. Especially,
very
did you go back to the doctor? Did you?
At that time, we're just focusing on
On
other
her
things,
getting
right?
better.
So it wasn't a priority for us because it was just more around what do we do, right? How
How do you
else?
move forward?
How do we move forward to make sure that things get better?
Okay.
And so the treatment went well. A lot of time was spent in India. We had extra. She had to stay 10 extra days because she also had diabetes, right? So, which on its own, if you're going through a major surgery like that, you have to take so many things into consideration. And I think because of, the anxiety that comes with just knowing that you have this
Medical
disease
condition.
and you also have to go through a major surgery, so many things, right? So blood sugar was really high and they had to work on getting it down because you can't go through such surgery with high blood sugar.
And then it affects healing as well.
Yes, it does affect healing, everything. So, but the surgery went well. The surgery went well. They got the surgery done. She stayed back in the hospital. My other sister had to leave, and then I stayed back with my mom, and that was when, seeing her. And just some days are bad. Some days she would wake up. She doesn't want to talk, no matter how much you try. And one of the days she looked me straight in the eyes and just told me, I'm not in the mood. Like, just leave
Just
me
leave
alone.
me alone. Yeah.
And I said, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine, but yeah.
I can't imagine because I tell you, sometimes I wake up and I'm not in the mood. So, and I haven't even been through this. So it would have been a difficult time. Okay, so how long did, from diagnosis to healing, how long did that take for her? I know you may never really truly heal, but
yeah.
you know what I mean?
It took a while because she had to go through different rounds of the chemotherapy, went through the radiotherapy. And
There in India?
No.
Okay.
So after the surgery and she was discharged, I had to go back to Nigeria with her. That wasn't the plan. But one of the things that in that moment, and I think for me, one of the things that really changed was just my level of compassion and empathy. When my mom was discharged, so the plan was I had my return ticket to go back to Manchester, and my mom was supposed to go back to Nigeria. But it just didn't sit well leaving my mom all by herself to
Through
fly
the
back to
journey.
Nigeria alone. And she's naturally a very quiet person and doesn't, when she was told that she had to go through India and all, she was worried about us in terms of the finance. And she kept saying, this is just not what I want you children to go through and everything, right? So when the doctor said, she's good to go, and we had all of our paper clearance, everything to go. And I looked at my mom. She didn't say anything, but the look on her face, I could tell that she didn't want to go alone, right? And so I had to make a change in plans and change my flights or I got a different ticket anyway. So went to Nigeria back with her and then left. But it all started, this was in September of 2010 when I was in India, and then went back early October. And I think the whole treatment, I honestly don't remember, but I know it went into the, early 2011, thereabout, right? Because she had to do other things. But then she was fine. She did cope well with the side effects of the chemo and radiotherapies and all. And not too long, her hair started growing back. She did lose her hair, so they started growing back. She could eat more. My mom is, like I said, she loves life. She always said I would not die. Even when we're going back to Nigeria, while in India, she made sure that she bought the very nice fabric that she wanted for her Thanksgiving because she was hopeful that she would make it, right? And she did. She did make it. She did her Thanksgiving
Nice.
in the local church she was attending. And yeah, you go through that treatment phase, it's over, but then you now have to, she had to start dealing with other parts of it, just accepting that this is what it is. She doesn't have that breast anymore. She's had cancer. Cancer is unpredictable, right? You don't know
Can it come back?
Would it come back? Would it, is it gone for good and things like that? So, but
And that alone, sometimes the suspense of, you can be checking every time. Am I good now? Any pain, any other place, has it spread?
True.
So that thing is psychological, but it can deal with a person, right?
Yeah. No, I think
You have to be strong.
for the most part, she dealt more with the psychological aspect of things than the physical. There was just a lot. You have, she had to process. And when I started reading more, because, it was now real to me. This is like the closest person in my family or in my life, I would say, right? And I started learning more about cancer, the journey, how to support a family member. There are lots of great resources, Christian books that tells you, Bible verses to read, food to eat and all. But I also learned more around the mental side of things and, psychologically how it can impact people.
Yeah, because some of these things, if they're not close to you, you don't understand the reality of it, right? Until you actually walk in the shoes or you feel it really close to you, experience it close to you.
Yeah.
So what inspired you? I know that you I've seen your status, and sorry that I've not been able to join, but one day I will. I said, what inspired you to start participating in walks and marathons for cancer awareness? I think it's pretty obvious, but say it.
Yeah, but it's more around just being out there to talk about this. And I say being out there to talk about this from the lens of, I know I come from a culture where cancer is almost considered a death sentence. Cancer is also considered so many things. People don't want to talk about it. There's also this whole mom effect when there's cancer thing. People hide. People don't want to talk about it. But I learned through my mom's journey that the more we know, the better educated we are about this whole
Yeah.
journey. And so for me, being able to support in the works and do it here, even though my mom didn't get her treatment here, it doesn't matter because the treatment that she received is obviously as a result of the research that they're doing in the West, right? And I come out to talk about it. I come out to support the run because I really want people to know that there's a lot of support out there for you, one. And also, I want to ensure that more than anything else, I'm being part of the future for change. And the future for change is no matter how small I can support, can this help with the research so that more people can survive cancer?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I know I mentioned that my mom is no longer here with us, but she was a survivor. She was alive for 9 years. And
Wow,
the last
after?
yes, 9 years
Was
after.
there remission anytime?
She was fine. There was
Wow.
nothing.
Wow.
She didn't die of cancer, and that's what I always say to people. Cancer is not a death sentence. I know somebody was trying to argue with me one time that she heard my mom died of cancer. I'm like, are you for real? Are you to tell me what killed my mom? But my mom didn't die of cancer. She was fine. And I would say that her being okay after that treatment, again, comes down to the research, right? Because there's a lot going on. The chemotherapy is having, I believe, for the most part, less side effects on people. And the surgery, they did a very good job with the surgery. Everything went well. And I believe that those doctors obviously benefited from the research.
Some research that would have been done.
That would have been done. So if I can support the research to keep going on, so that more people will survive, so that more people will have to go through this journey without fear of losing their life, then that's just for me one of the reasons, right? And I also I use it as an opportunity to strike a conversation so that if people have family members and they want to talk about it and they want to reach out, and I talk about it. It's nothing like I come from a family where we're pretty open about our journey, right? Because we've learned from it. And someone shared the hospital they went to in India. So why would I hide it?
Yeah.
Right?
So if anybody can
If
gain
anybody
something from
can.
you, why
Yeah, I've
not?
had people that I referred to the same hospital, not necessarily for the same kind of situation, but they were able to go and
Nice.
yeah.
So in your opinion and experience, how has your local environment, so to speak, been affected by these events that you participate in? And how have you been able to raise awareness? I know you've been doing this for nothing less than
7 years now. So
okay.
my first race with the cancer research was 2017.
Okay.
And I would say within the community here, there are a lot of people that participate in it. So, and it just helps to bring the awareness out, right? And people are learning more about it. People are benefiting from the race in terms of the fundraising that it's being done through the cancer research race. And it's also an opportunity. So when I went last year, 2023, I met a lady. So I go for most of these events all by myself. I don't have people who share the same passion, and I don't want anything to stop me. So she was by herself, I was by myself. And I was like, hey, how are you? And we got talking. She's a young lady, I think in her mid-30s. You know, she told me her journey through breast cancer. We had that conversation and we are still friends. She couldn't make it for this race this year because it was her daughter's birthday, but she shared a lot and how she came for the race the year before, I believe. And someone actually told her about a different organization that provides some other resources, right? So it's a great opportunity for people to come out and you hear stories. You hear heartwarming stories, recovery, survivors, or There was an older woman I met last year, and she told me that, she had her surgery about 19 years prior to that time.
Wow.
And she was strong, looking very well. There's nothing to tell you, right? So it's those conversations within the community would also help survivors.
Yeah, nice. What challenges have you faced in? I know you say you do your thing alone, but I see your status, like I said. What kind of challenge or challenges do you think you or the organization has faced, getting people together to come out for this event?
I don't know about the organization. I can't speak for them, but for myself, a lot of people are not very, for lack of better words, a lot of people are not very supportive. And some people also think that there is a personal gain in terms of finance. And I say this because I had someone 3 years ago, it was during COVID, and I was reaching out for support. And one of the girls, she reached out to me and said, hey, so this race that you are doing, like, do you just want to tell me that you just go out and you run, and you're not benefiting anything? Like, yes. And so she said, I said, the money doesn't come to me. There is a website, there's a page for every fundraiser. And she was like, wow, but somehow tell me there's something that you're getting from it. And I'm like, no, I don't have to get any monetary incentive. I have genuine reasons and passion for this. And, I didn't even bother, like, I didn't want to explain myself because it was a silly question or something.
I know.
But so, things like that, when you also have some people who think that they are donating $25, $50, and it's going to Ife's pocket.
Coming to you.
I don't even see, like, I don't have access to it, right? And so it's
I'm
a
not
challenge.
Sure how a person would think that way, though.
Well,
But
some people think differently. People don't believe
or maybe
that.
they don't understand.
Yeah, people don't understand. I've had people ask me, like, why are you running? Who is chasing you?
Are you for real?
Why are you running? Who is chasing you? And all of those things, right?
And that's why we need awareness, so people understand how these things work.
Yes, and how these things work, why is important. Because when you come out, like when you go on the race day and you see people, it just makes you understand that if it's a family friend, if it's the individual, whoever, that they are not alone. There's so many people out there who are doing this for, great reasons.
Yeah.
And, it's just being able to get out there and do what you can as a person. If you are alive, you have to have a purpose. You have to do something to support. We don't always have to get something back financially, right? For me, what I'm getting back is just that joy that in some ways I can do something useful, right?
So I hope this is educating someone out there. When you, I don't know if you're Ife's contact, but if you see her status like I do, and I think, I don't know, and you contribute money to this, these things go straight to the organizations. It doesn't go to her bank account.
No.
So please feel free to support. And I don't know, you can even write to these organizations and ask how they spend these monies, and I'm sure they will not hesitate to explain to you. I just, and especially if this person knows your story about your mom and they're asking you what's chasing you.
People just ask. People say things,
I don't
right?
know.
And,
Like sometimes let's think before we ask these questions, right? It's not just like for the immediate answer. Think about how these questions impact the other person.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But I guess it's also, like, for me, I see it as an opportunity to educate people. Right? I don't shy away from it. I don't get upset. I look at it from the lens of ignorance, and I'm like, let's talk,
And then you educate them.
Yeah, and I educate them.
Well, everyone's at different levels of understanding. Yeah. So let's try to be nice too. So I know that you say you are not organizing these events. Do you in the future? Is it something you want to be able to organize by yourself? Do you think it'll be easy to do? Would you need support, finance, and things like that? What do you think? What are your thoughts or plans?
Oh yeah. At least plans for now is keep doing what I'm doing every year, going back, lacing up my shoes, and being the pink girl out there. But in terms of organizing something, most likely yes. I would love to. It might not necessarily be for. It might not necessarily be for the cancer research, maybe not. And I say this because, like I mentioned, my mom's journey through health and everything was quite a lot, right? From as young as I can remember, she's always had health issues
of other
and different things, right? So there are other things that mean so much as well. And they're
Do you
not
want
being
to
talked
talk about that?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones. So my first
Well, you
race,
mentioned diabetes as well. So
yeah. So my first race ever was I think it was in May, June of 2010. And it was actually supporting the Diabetes Society of England at that time. I just saw the ad and I'm like, whoa, maybe I should do this. And at that time, I was more, I was really involved with my mom's journey with diabetes. And it was important for us to all learn in terms of food, dieting, everything that can help. So the medications and all. So that was my first race. I've never did anything. And I just signed up, went. I still remember that day like yesterday. It was really emotional.
Wow.
There were a lot of people and I said, this is good. So the next year, I did support it, but then didn't go back because I had left England. So, but when I came here and saw the cancer one, I said, I'll do this, right? So diabetes is one disease that a lot of people also don't talk about, right? But a lot of complications that come from diabetes end up leading to death. And that's what, led to my mom's death, complications from diabetes and all. But so in terms of the race, I would love to do that at some point, not now. It's a lot. Kudos to all the charities that do that out there, but it takes a lot of time. You need volunteers, you need so many things to be able to do that. So I would love to, and even if it's not myself organizing, I will always be more than happy to support any one organization that it's looking to start up for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so from at least your experience, and I see you to be somebody who reads a lot, actually, because these things have been closely experienced. Maybe not you directly, but your mom who's close to you. What are some things, I'd like for you to say some things about diabetes that people can learn today, and some things about cancer, maybe preventive or something. There might have been aha moments for you walking with your mom with these two experiences or these two health conditions. Yeah. Anything you want to highlight for people?
Yeah, I think, going back to the time my mom was going through the journey with the cancer, one of the things, I don't know if there's anything I can really say preventative in terms of this is number one checklist other than early dictation. Like the moment you notice something is not right anyway, it doesn't have to be the breast. It can be anything, and that's what really also kept my mom, because my mom was like, she wakes up in the morning and she finds something, she's like, I have to go to the hospital, right? So just really checking yourself at every point in time. So just being able to know that,
Be aware.
yeah, something is not right, I'm going to the doctor. And we don't have to settle for one opinion, And what I mean by that is when my mom went to the hospital and they told her it was not,
is
she's
so
like,
important.
yeah, she said, no, at my age, I know what, I can tell you this is not normal. And she left, right? And she kept like, even at some point, we're like, Mommy, please, you don't have to always talk about your breast. Like, but she was seeking that opinion.
Yeah.
So being able to understand that you don't have to settle for one opinion, just ask questions, right? Advocate for yourself, advocate for your family member. That really goes a long way because sometimes it's just making sure that you are giving the best for what you have. And seek options, right? What can we do differently? So what are the other options that we have? Put everything on the table and then choose what will work best for you. But don't compromise as well. If you have to pay, if you have to spend the money, I know it can be difficult, but go all out. Like, being able to support the person would help.
Yeah.
And in terms of, with diabetes, it was more around really knowing what is right, medication, checking, the blood sugar, any sign changes. Food. Oh yeah, food is the biggest thing, right? And but really just being able, again, talk about what changes that you are noticing. And the side effects of some medications can be really bad. And talk to your doctor, ask questions, seek, different options. I know I've said that several times, but it's important because you don't just want to settle for, whatever
You can
that's being
imagine
given
if
to
she
you.
did.
Yeah, if
Just
she
sit
did,
back.
yeah. So, and, with diabetes, I would say for the most part, food does make a whole lot of difference in terms of the diet, right? In terms of diet. And it's not just for the person who has the diabetes, but also for family members because most times it's hereditary, right? So chances are pretty high that anyone whose family or whose parent, I would say, has diabetes,
There's a likelihood.
there's a likelihood that someone else or someone within that family. So being able to watch our diet from the moment we find out that there is a history, right? And for cancer, I would say do your checkup, right? If you're in the West where it's accessible for you to be able to do mammograms and things like that, don't hesitate in getting your requisition and going for it. The technology has changed, so not back in the days where they will take your breast and they're going this way and that way. It's not the same anymore. So I know some people will tell me, I don't like doing that because the last time I went, they
But
were just flipped.
if you ask
And I'm
me,
like, if they're flipping,
If they
it's
flip
okay.
your breast to save your life, let them flip it.
It's only for that
Lord.
moment,
I
right?
know.
So, but people find so many excuses
I know,
not to. And I
I
said,
know, I
that
understand.
shouldn't stop you. Just do
But I
what you have
mean,
to do.
Really, people out there, if you think about, okay, I'm thinking about your mom and how she lived for 9 years after detection, right? If someone will flip your breast today to let you live for 20 years,
Flip it on.
please. So something like here, we live in Calgary here, and mammogram is free.
Yeah.
Once you're 40, it's free. It's something that you should be doing. I'm not sure if it's every year or every 3 years or something.
For most people, it's recommended to be done every year.
Okay,
So,
I think
yeah.
until a particular age, maybe later, it's now after.
Yeah.
So people like me, sometimes I procrastinate, but I know I did it. So please go out and do your mammogram. Please, I don't want to talk about flipping breast pump. That's no issue. Please. It's just important. There's one question I have. So after taking out the lump,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you're healed. You still have to take medication.
It depends if it's cancerous, if
So
the
if
lump
it's-
is cancerous.
Yeah, so if it's
Yeah.
cancerous, the fact that it's no longer there, you still have to.
There's some treatment. Yeah, for some people, not everyone goes through. So for my mom, she had to go through that surgery and all because the doctor said it was best like that
To
was
be
the best
safe.
recommendation rather than remove the lump and then
So-
it starts to spread because they don't know if
Yeah.
that because the lump was already cancerous, right? Maybe it had started to
Moved
spread
somewhere
or not.
else or
So
something. Even
it was
after
just
cutting.
best. Yeah.
Even
and even after cutting.
chemo.
Yeah. Because some people they will cut the first one and then after a while they found out
Something
that the
of the
second
second
one.
one.
So it's a different piece for everyone. And that's again one of the things I say to people that one person didn't have this experience doesn't mean that it's a one size fit all. Everyone's journey is different,
It's different.
right? Yeah, not everybody will go through the same treatment options. The doctors will tell you what is best, and then you take it from there.
Wow. This has been such an engaging story. And not just for the fun of it. This is for, somebody out there. Number one, there's some things, and because I've had experiences with, doctors giving you an opinion. There was a time, I was diagnosed with, in fact, they thought it was malaria. That's what they'll tell you in Nigeria. Until I went, eventually, I went to see a doctor and he found out what exactly was wrong. And then he gave me medication. I took for about a year. I wasn't getting better. Until I now went to another doctor who probably had what I had and now gave me drugs. And I had to take drugs for another 18 months to 2 years to get better. So I'm not just talking. Please always get a second opinion. It's so important, especially in my beloved country. And then a word to medical practitioners. Why would I know things are hard, we want to make money, but the health of a patient should be, oh my God, I'm not even sure if what I'm saying will make a difference. But it just feels so, But people, please make sure put health first.
Yep.
Make sure it's important. Just go for checks. And if you're here, you have access to, if you're over 40, like me, make sure you go for your checks, mammogram, even the pap smear.
Yeah, perhaps.
Those are things you should do once in 3 years.
Check your sugar once in a while.
Check your sugar.
Yeah.
Check your blood pressure. Those are things, but we can't exhaust all those things today.
Yeah.
So I would say thank you so much, Ify. It's been such an enlightening discussion for me, and I hope someone out there has something to learn. And then don't forget that she survived and lived for another 9 years. So
Yeah, for 9
being
years.
deliberate with your health, there's always hope at the end of the tunnel. There's light.
Yes.
And thank you so much for sitting with us till the end of this enlightening episode. Please like, comment, share. Also, subscribe to my channel, Life Couch with Faith. And until the next episode, I would say bye.